Yes, you see, I was born at a time when you didn't do as you wanted, you did as you were told. And I'd always wanted to be an actor from the earliest age I can remember. I think I was influenced by the travelling circus that came to Grantham, the town where I was born. And I, in fact, when I was a very small child, I thought the only live entertainment was the circus. And then when we went to live in London, I realised there was a broader spectrum. My parents did everything not only to dissuade me and discourage me, they tried to thwart me and stop me. But it was somewhere in the genes, obviously, because I became an engineer first to please my family. I went back to Glasgow, where we have relations. I did 5 years on Clydebank, working with all the faintest characters you could ever meet. You know, Clydebank, always known as Big Nick, that big Irish boy. I said, what are you doing up here? You're a fellow, you come from a particular society like, where can you get your horns dirty? I sure ain't, Nick. Anyway, I survived in that environment and became very friendly with all the lads. Became one of the other apprentices, and they treated me as an equal. It was great, even though I spoke as I did now from my English public school accent. And I went to Glasgow University, but I was determined to get into show business. So when Carol Levis, the great discovery man of the period, came to the Glasgow Empire, I went and asked for an audition, got one, and Carol was very good. He gave me quite a few broadcasts. I then did some drama broadcasts on Glasgow radio, and then the small reps which were around at that time. And I slowly forged my way into show business, proved to myself I could do it. And after I'd finished my time on Clydebank and became a qualified marine and mechanical engineer, I told my family, right, I've done that, and now I'm going to become a professional actor. They thought I was mad, and maybe in one sense I was mad, but then you've got to be a bit mad to go into show business. You've got to be a bit mad to survive in show business. Eventually, it'll pay off, because it is the most competitive profession in the world. It's vastly overcrowded. Majority of people are always unemployed. But I've always done lots of different things, so I've always kept in pretty constant employment.
No, I actually had the pleasure of working with, sadly no longer with us, Alfred Marks, who talked about his happy years at the Windmill Theatre.
Yes.
You, of course, were resident there for quite some time,
Right.
weren't you? And that was an incredible venue, wasn't it?
Yes, it was an amazing place to work, playing to that rather strange audience, because one has to realise that in the 50s the Lord Chamberlain's office existed, and there was a strong censorship about what went on in the West End and London theatre, in any theatre actually, and the Windmill got round it all by just having them very scantily clad, and you got there was no such things as strip clubs and those sort of places at that time. So all these businessmen would queue up in the morning at about 11 o'clock because the Windmill was run like a cinema. It was a continuous show, and you did 6 shows a day, 6 days of the week, 36 shows. And they'd queue up in the morning, you know, in their city clothes and go in, and it was an all-male audience. And sometimes they would stay on for 3 or 4 shows, and it was pretty tough going out to entertain them anyway, because they really wanted to look at the girls. Well, they weren't strippers. They were allowed to be naked, provided they only posed. They weren't allowed to move. This was the strange Lord Chamberlain's rule.